Hello YouTube, welcome back. Chris here. Today I want to do another exciting video about another exciting e-bike. I've gotten through the more recreational side of the specialized e-bikes, and people have been asking me to branch off into more brands and show other products. So here we go. The next logical step is going to be to look at some Treks. I'm here on Trek's homepage. We're going to go ahead and take a look at their e-bikes. And if we drop down to electric bikes, we're going to look at city and hybrid. So they have two different categories under City and Hybrid. They have the Trek Verve Plus category and the Elant Plus. Today I'm going to cover the Verve Plus. I'll do the Elant shortly here in the future, but we're going to start with the Verve. So we're under See All Models here with the Trek Verve Plus. Pretty simple here. They only make two variations of the Trek Verve Plus, both in step over and step through. They have a Trek Verve Plus 2 and a Trek Verve Plus 3. They make each of them in a low step version as well. We'll go ahead and start with the Trek Verve Plus 2. This bike retails for $27.99.99. It is available in two colors, the first one being the matte Alpine Blue. They also make it in the matte metallic gunmetal. Got some cool pictures here of the bike. There's that mid-drive Bosch motor, the Bosch battery, controller, headlight, taillight, drivetrain, brakes, battery again, and the cockpit. This bike comes in three sizes, medium, large, and extra large. And we'll scroll down here and take a look at some of the specs. Of course, they gotta try to sell you some accessories as you go before you can see any of the information. These are kind of cool here to look at. This shows it comes with fenders, got some Bontrager hard case tires, comes with lights, hydraulic brakes, the Bosch Active Line motor, which we'll talk about the specs a little bit more as we go scroll down. Aluminum frame, Bosch Purion display, mid-drive motor placement, and the Bosch PowerPack 400. So here's the more detailed specs. Got that Alpha Gold aluminum frame. It's got a steel fork, Formula hubs, nothing too exciting here. There's those Bontrager hard case tires, 700 by 45C. So these bikes do come with a larger hybrid size wheel. It's a 700C wheel. A lot of people ask me in the bike shop why these e-bikes never come with narrow tires. This has 700 by 45s, which is you don't usually see much narrower than that on an e-bike. The reason being is these are heavy bikes. And when you have a heavier bike, it's much easier to bottom out the tires. So having a little bit more air volume is not necessarily a bad thing. And with that assist, it doesn't really ride like you're on a big, dragging tire because you have that extra push. But it gives you a little bit more added stability for higher speeds, a little better traction when you're cornering, and definitely more air volume so you're not bottoming out. This is really cool. I wish more manufacturers would put this, but they actually list a max tire size here, 700 by 50C with or without fenders. A lot of times they don't list that, so people are stuck kind of buying tires and hoping that they fit, and if they don't, well, they may have to figure out what to do with them if they don't work on the bike. Drivetrain on this bike is a Shimano Alivio 9-speed setup. It's going to be a 1x9 setup, as is pretty typical to see on e-bikes. They usually only do one ring in the front. So you're going to have one ring in the front with 38 teeth and a 9-speed rear cassette that goes from 11 to 36. Basic saddle, suspension seat post, and it is an oversized seat post, 31.6. Basic alloy handlebar, alloy stem, nothing too exciting here. Pair of Shimano MT200 hydraulic disc brakes. A little bit more on the entry level side from Shimano, but still a very nice brake nonetheless. And here we get into our more drive components. We got our battery, which is the Bosch PowerPack 400. This is kind of an external battery that clips into the frame. It's not as integrated as what you're going to see on the Verve 3. But pretty typical system to see from Bosch. They use this on a lot of different brands, not just Trek. So that's something we see a lot. As mentioned before, that Bosch Purion controller. And here's our motor, the Bosch Active. This is a 250 watt motor, 40 Newton meters of torque, and a 20 mile per hour top speed. That makes this a class 1 bike, which means it's going to be pedal assist only, and it will go up to a 20 mile per hour top speed. You of course can make the bike go faster than that, but that's where the motor is going to stop assisting you. This bike does come with integrated front and rear lights, and it does come with SKS fenders. Something you don't see very often on bike manufacturers' websites is the weight of the bike, and people often ask, They often don't list it, especially with an e-bike, just because it can be kind of shocking to see that this bike does weigh 51.5 pounds. I mean, the e-bikes in general are not lightweight. And, that is pretty typical weight to see for an e-bike. They do also list a weight limit here for bicycle, rider, and cargo combined of 300 pounds. And this is a really handy sizing chart here. If you watched my specialized videos, they give you more of a geometry chart like this down here. But that is not super handy for most people. This is what most people need to see. Medium, large, and extra large, rider height, and rider inseam. And these are pretty darn accurate. It's very rare to find somebody who doesn't fit into this sizing if they follow these two guidelines here. So I like that they put that, makes it real easy to use. If you know your height, your inseam, you can pretty well size yourself on one of these bikes pretty easily. And that's about it for the Trek Verve Plus 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at the low step version. Alrighty, so here's our Trek Low Step Verve Plus 2. A couple of pictures here. This is what I was mentioning before, how that battery kind of clips into the frame but is an external battery. There's that Purion controller. Lights. This bike does come in 3 colors. What you're seeing here is the color called Azure. They also make a matte metallic gunmetal and a deep dark blue. That's a really attractive bike. I like that blue and gold combo. This bike is available in 4 sizes: extra small, small, medium, and large. I'm going to skip over the specs on this bike because it is identical to the bike I just covered, but I do want to quickly here show you the sizing. Because it does have different sizing, you will see different height ranges on these, so this could help you if you're sizing one of these bikes. Now let's take a look at the Verve Plus 3. You'll notice between the Verve Plus 2 and the Verve Plus 3, there's not a huge price difference. You're talking for the 2, $27.99.99, and for the 3, $32.49.99. So you're talking a $450 difference, and the differences are fairly minimal. I'll go into what they are here as I go through the specs, but overall they're fairly similar bikes. In this Verve 3 Plus, it's going to have the most obvious thing that jumps out at you is that integrated battery built right into the frame there. So it's a little cleaner looking. It's also a larger battery and a little bit larger motor. That's going to be the bulk of the difference between these two bikes, and we'll go through those specs here as I go down. This bike is only available in the matte Trek Black. Sizing is the same as the Verve Plus 2, and you got a medium, large, and extra large. Some pictures here. This is a different Bosch motor. This is the Active Line Plus, and we'll go through the spec change as we go down. There's that nice integrated battery. I like how that conveniently pops out, and that handle is really handy too for taking that in and out. Looks very clean with the bike. There's that Bosch controller, headlight, tail light, drivetrain, brakes. So let's get down here into the specs. Got to sell you some accessories first. Bontrager hard case tires, and then this is going to be your first major upgrade, going from a 400 watt-hour external battery to a 500 watt-hour Bosch Power Tube integrated battery. We also go to the Bosch Active Line Plus, which is going to be a 50 Newton meter torque motor, where the 2 comes with a 40 Newton meter torque. So this is going to have a little bit more pickup, a little faster responding to it than the Verve 2 will have. It's also a 250 watt motor, and it is also a 20 mile per hour top speed class 1 bicycle. Hydraulic disc brakes, that Bosch Purion display, and mid-drive motor placement. So it's obviously not the same frame set since this has the integrated battery, but they are both aluminum frame sets. Still has that rigid fork on the front. Nothing too exciting here. It is worth mentioning that the tire size does change a little bit. This bike comes with a 700 by 50C tire. Both bikes will be capable of using a range of tire sizes on it. This bike is just spec'd with a little bit larger tire for whatever reason. Just worth noting, it does have a slightly larger tire on the bike. The drivetrain, as far as I can see, seems identical between the two bikes. What you're paying for in that $450 is more the motor upgrade, integrated battery, and the battery upgrade than it is the spec on the bike itself and the actual bicycle components. It has that suspension seat post. Not much exciting here. You got that alloy bar, alloy stem, and here's the specs we were talking about: Bosch Power Tube 500, and then that Active Plus Bosch motor with 250 watts, 50 Newton meters, and a 20 mile per hour top speed. Integrated lights, same as the other bike. And this bike actually does weigh a little bit more at 54.43 pounds for size medium. I'm guessing that's because, one, you have a bigger battery, and two, you have an integrated battery. So I'm guessing more structural setup went into getting that battery in the frame, and it probably weighs a little bit more to do that. May be wrong, but that's just my guess. Has that same maximum bike and cargo weight of 300 pounds. And here's your sizing, which this sizing chart is the same as the other bike. So let's go take a quick look at our low step. In our Verve 3 low step, it comes in 3 colors. It comes in a teal, Trek black, and alpine blue. Go through some pictures here for you. Good looking bike. I do like that battery handle, that's really nice. This bike does come in 4 sizes, just like the 2 low step does, extra small through large. And all the specs are going to be the same between the 3 low step and the regular 3, but I will show you once more here the sizing chart for the low step, which is going to be the same for both low steps between the 3 and the 2. So that's about it for the Trek Verve series. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please leave them below in the comments. If you like this video and you want to see some more, please like and subscribe. I am going to do more of these in the future, and I will shortly be doing the Trek Allant series. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.